Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Browns NFL early games. We'll call it an update show, and we're going to recap the Thursday night football game and the Sunday night and the Saturday football games as well. We will recap them, and we'll get to all that. But first, and happy Christmas Eve, by the way. Merry Christmas. Hope you're having enjoying your time with family and friends. I know there's a lot of last minute Christmas shoppers. Right now, though, before we do anything, here is today's Scott Sports 101, Week 16 NFL trivia question. It is a Houston Texans question because that's who the Browns are playing today. Who was the first player in NFL history to pass for 400 yards, throw four touchdown passes, and rush for 50 yards in a single game? And I'll have the answer later in the podcast. I will have it. Well, we will get to the Browns in just a moment and the other games today, but first, we're going to recap. We're going to bring you up to speed. No one didn't get a chance to do a Thursday night pregame or postgame show, and I do apologize. I didn't get to do it yesterday because I've been so busy getting ready for Christmas and the big day. But we'll recap them for you right now. The LA Rams beat the New Orleans Saints Thursday night on Thursday Night Football to kick off Week 16, 30-22 at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, and they were Sean McVay turned the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, already jubilant locker room into a party Thursday night with an announcement the players are off until Tuesday, allowing them to spend the entire Christmas holiday with their families. But those surprising Rams, they earned their holiday with a surge of 5 wins in 6 games down the stretch, accumulating in another impressive victory over a fellow NFC playoff contender. And Matthew Stafford passed for 328 yards and 2 touchdowns, and rookie Puka Nakua had 9 catches for a career high 164 yards and a score, and the Rams surged forward in the race to the postseason berth with a 30-22 victory over the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans had a chance to not go to Hurtland, and so again, the first one 12:44 left, and throwing on 6 of its first 8 possessions, but allowed its opponent to make it close for the second straight game after a late 21-point lead turned into an 8-point win over Washington last weekend. But Derek Carr threw TD passes to Juwan Johnson and A.T. Perry in the fourth quarter with a 2-point conversion, trimming the Rams' lead to 8 points with 3:53 left to play. But that was as close as they got, and they just could not get over the hurdles. So next up, the Saints are at Tampa Bay on the 31st on New Year's Eve, and the Rams are at the New York Giants on December 31st, New Year's Eve as well, next Sunday. So, and I took the Rams and won that one, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He took the Rams as well. So, and the game balls, Stafford, Williams, and Nakua get the game balls for that one. Now for the Saturday games. Whoa, I had a little technical problem there. The Saturday games. The Pittsburgh Steelers walloped the Cincinnati Bengals at Azteca Stadium in Pittsburgh, 34-11. And Mason Rudolph isn't afraid to admit his mind would drift toward the future as the seasons passed, and he remained at the bottom of the Pittsburgh Steelers depth chart. And you have confidence in yourself as a player, the longtime backup quarterback said. But I'm kind of thinking, and I'm going to jump into the commercial real estate realm next year, or am I going to play quarterback? A job change may have to wait. There may be life in Rudolph's NFL career and in the Steelers' unwieldy se- unwi- on widely season. And Rudolph threw for 290 yards and two long touchdowns to an embattled wide receiver George Pickens at Saturday as the Steelers gave their fitting playoff hopes a jolt with a 34-11 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And Cincinnati was held to just they were just held to 11 points. And so I think it was a field goal and a 2-point conversion that did it after one touchdown. And Pittsburgh led 8-7. They turned their third longest tenured player on the roster. Rudolph responded by making kind of big plays that have been lacking in the NFL's 28th ranked offense for years, as the Steelers snapped their 3-game skid, and uh, and the Rudolph was 17 of 27 carries and attempts for 290 yards, and uh, and Rudolph has been silent for an overwhelming majority of that time for a lot of his time during this season. So, but the Bengals, they just struggled offensively and defensively, but they're still in the mix. They fell to 8-7, and and the longtime practice squad player threw for 335 yards and a touchdown. Injured Joe Burrow, and he was starting in place of injured Joe Burrow. And T. Higgins finished with 5 receptions, 140 yards, and an 80-yard touchdown. But the Bengals just couldn't do anything right. So next up for them, they're going to have to do their work cut out. So next up for the Bengals, they are at Kansas City next Sunday, and the Steelers are going to try to win. They're at Seattle next Sunday. And so I got to give the game balls to the Steelers. I have to give them to them, and that is Rudolph, Harris, and Pickens. They get the game balls for that one. And last night, oops, wrong one. I already did that one. Last night, the Buffalo Bills beat the Chargers by 2, 24-22. Chargers fought to 5-10 the season, and the Bills go to 6-6 to keep their playoff hopes alive. Uh, Josh Allen continues to reach milestones in his sixth NFL season, but he's more concerned about getting the Buffalo Bills back into the playoffs. And Allen did his part Saturday night by rushing for 2 TDs, throwing one for one, but took it a 29-yard field goal. It took a 29-yard field goal by Taylor Bass with 28 seconds remaining in the game for the Bills to escape with a 24-22 win over the victory over the Los Angeles Chargers. Allen became the first player in NFL history with 4 consecutive seasons of 40 combined touchdowns and the second quarterback to reach 50 career rushing scores. And it is tough when you're playing a team with nothing to lose. That's a dangerous team. We gutted it out, and we found a way, said Allen, who completed 15 of 21 passes for 237 yards with an interception. And this is our playoffs. It didn't matter how we get them done. Just get them done. The Bills are 9-6, have won 4 of their last 5. Buffalo's playoff chances got some help earlier in the day when Pittsburgh beat Cincinnati. And the Chargers, they were just doing some things they had not shown this season. They came in well prepared, McDermott said. I thought our guys settled and responded. We did a good job in the red zone and had some big plays, third down, to help us out. But Cameron Dicker kicked a career high 5 field goals, and Easton Stick passed for 210 yards for Los Angeles, who are now fall to 5-10. But they just come up short. They could not get over the hurdle to get the win, and it was a difficult game for them. And they were not able to get anything to get a game winning field goal or touchdown. So next up, For the Bills are at New England to host the Patriots next Sunday, and the Chargers are at Denver to play in Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. And the game balls. Uh, Allen, Cook, and Davis. So that those are the games from the first three games that kicked it off, and we'll get to the Browns in just a moment. We're going to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Week 16 uh, NFL trivia question. It's the Browns' opponent, the Houston Texans question. Uh, who was the first player in NFL history to pass for 400 yards, throw four TD passes, and rush for 500 for 50 yards in a single game? And if you said who's now the Browns quarterback, but injured Deshaun Watson, you are correct. In week 8 of his season, Deshaun showed his potential as the league's next superstar QB. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in practice the following week and was lost for the year. So I'm going to do a trivia question tomorrow on my Christmas Day podcast, which will be live at the Hoyle House, it'll be at the home of my sister and brother-in-law, Jen and Eric Hoyle, and my niece and nephew, Alyssa and Jay Hoyle. And my special guest will be none other than my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle, and his cousin, Aaron Hoyle. And you may not get the post-game shows, the early game, pregame show, and postgame show for Sunday Night Football. You probably won't get that on my Sunday Night Football pregame, postgame. So I will recap all the action from today tomorrow, what I will do. So you'll get it tomorrow. But right now, it's week 16 of the NFL regular season. We have a ton of NFL matchups for you today. The Browns are in Houston right now, taking on the Texans at NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas, excuse me. Uh, The Browns are coming off a 20-17 win over the Chicago Bears at home last week. The Browns will look to go to 10-5 with a win over the Texans. Sunday's Christmas Eve game in Houston was supposed to be a classic matchup between Deshaun Watson, the former Texans quarterback who's now with the Browns, and rookie C.J. Stroud, the number 2 overall pick out of Ohio State, who eventually replaced him with the Texans. Instead, it's expected to be Joe Flacco versus former Browns quarterback, who was a backup quarterback, Case Keenum, who went 2-0 for Cleveland in 2021 in relief of Baker Mayfield. Stroud, who's taken the NFL by storm this season, is expected to sit out his second straight game Sunday with his concussion, according to Aaron Wilson of KPRC uh, Channel 2 TV in Houston. Uh, yeah, in Houston, yes. Uh, Stroud remains in the concussion protocol. Uh, uh, and sat out Wednesday's practice. Coach D'Amico said uh, D'Amico Ryans didn't rule him out, excuse me, but it seems to be trending that way, and he is not playing today. It is Case Keenum. We're going through the protocol, and each person, each concussion, it is difficult. Ryans told Houston reporters, so it takes a different amount of time for each person to heal, just with anything, like with anything else. So he's just going through the protocol, just like everyone else, as whenever they've been in the concussion protocol. The most important thing is making sure CJ is healthy, and when he's ready to go, he'll be ready to go. And he said, "I'll let you guys know." Uh, uh, The uh, It represents another quarterback back break for the Browns, who faced a bevy of backups this season, but with all of the injuries they've suffered, they'll take any break they can get. In Week 1, they faced Joe Burrow, coming off his calf injury and not really ready to play. In Week 7, they faced Gardner Minshew instead of Anthony Richardson. In Week 9, they faced Clayton Tune instead of Kyler Murray. And in Week 14, they faced Trevor Lawrence 6 days after he suffered a gruesome high right ankle sprain in Week 16. Uh, they'll face Keenum instead of Stroud in Week 17. They'll face a backup instead of Aaron Rodgers in Week 18, and they'll face Jake Browning instead of Burrow when they play Cincinnati to wrap up the season in January. But the Browns, of course, are on their fourth quarterback in Flacco. Uh, they aren't feeling sorry for anyone, despite season ending injuries to Watson, Nick Chubb, Jack Conklin Jr., uh, Dewan Jones, Jack Conklin, Dewan Jones, Jedrick Willis Jr., excuse me, and others. The 9-5 Browns can clinch a playoff spot. Well, with a victory on Sunday and, com- and a complicated array of corresponding scenarios. Uh, in fact, with a trio of backup quarterbacks in their final three games, and with Flacco complementing the Browns' dominant defense, the number 5 seed Browns can win. Can win if the number 5 seed Browns can uh, win out to finish and go to 12-5, despite many of their star players at home or sidelined. It's important for playoff seeding, and the Browns are still have a slim chance to win the AFC North atop of the 11-3 Ravens. If the teams finish in a tie, the Browns can win on tiebreakers. But first things first, the Browns, who lost another batch of key players uh, last week, to last week, and are awaiting word on left guard Joe Patonio's lower back. I think he might be playing today, but I'm not sure. Uh, Lower back injury, excuse me, need a victory Sunday to clinch a playoff spot, and would love to and would love to have that wrapped up uh, heading into their final two games, including a Thursday night visit as the New York Jets come to town on Thursday Night Football, December 28th, and a trip to Cincy, as I mentioned, in the finale. Keenum, who replaced Stroud in Sunday's 19-16 overtime victory over the Titans, completed 23 of 36 attempts for 229 yards with one TD uh, and an interception for a 79.5 passer rating. As a result, he helped improve the Texans to 8-6 and the number 8 seed in the playoff chase, one notch behind the three wild card spots. I'm built for this Keenum after the game said, I've been in a lot of situations. I've been in a lot of systems. I've been in a lot of different games, uh, but God's made me. God has made me who I am for this. I am just trying to be ready, and uh, and uh, when my number is called, it's like Like I said before, you don't get ready, you stay ready. Kevin Stefanski is no stranger to Keenum, whom he guided to an 11-3 record in Minnesota in 2017 as his quarterback's coach and a spot in the NFC Championship game. Thank, thanks to the Minneapolis Miracle, the game-winning 61-yard touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs on the final play of the game. Keenum, who also went 2-0 in that disappointing 2021 season, which much hyped the Browns to finish 8-9. We'll see where that goes with Stroud. Stefanski said Monday. Obviously, they are a talented roster, so we'll see. Uh, Case specifically, somebody that I have worked with over the years. Uh, over the years, in two stops. Great person. Excited to see him down there, and he's a great quarterback. Uh, and I mean, he is one at every level. So we'll see how the week goes. But obviously, Case is somebody I have a ton of respect for. Uh, Uh, the AFC matchup has big playoff implications for both teams because the Browns currently have several teams right on their heels, eager to knock them out of one of the wild card spots, including the Texans, the Bengals, the Colts, uh, and the Bengals, Colts, Texans, and Bills are all tied at 8-6, with Cincy and Indy holding the final two wildcard spots. Before suffering the concussion, Stroud guided the Texans to a 7-6 record and climbed to number 5 in the NFL with a 98.7 passer rating, throwing 20 touchdowns against only five interceptions, and a leading candidate for offensive rookie of the year. Uh, uh, he still has a chance to break Andrew Luck's record, Andrew Luck's rookie passing yardage record, excuse me, of 4,374 yards. Stroud has thrown for 3,631 yards, uh, and the Texans are holding out hope that he can play, but Wilson reported Tuesday he was still suffering symptoms such as a sensitivity to light and would likely be out for the game. And the Texans are coming off a 3-point 19-16 win over the Tennessee Titans last week. As you know, Stroud is out because of his he is still on concussion protocol. So Case Keenum will be starting in his spot. So we shall see how this. But I think this game is really going to be one of those games where the Browns can really overcome. Can really, I think this is going to be one of those games where the Browns will get a last-second touchdown or game-winning field goal, or be able to hold off the Texans. I think the Browns will get the win in this game. I really think that they will. So we shall see. And but they gotta not have so many turnovers like they did last week, and they just gotta hold the lead, and they have to not be trailing. That's the other thing. So we will see what happens with this game today. But right now, it is time for the picks of the week. For my picks of the week. And right now, my brother-in-law and I are both 2-1. We took Cincinnati and lost, and we both took Buffalo and we won. So we're both 2-1 right now. For today's Browns game at Energy Stadium, I'm taking the Texans, and right now they lead 7-0. In the second quarter, just it's going to get underway at the end of the first quarter. It's a 2nd and 15 at the Houston 37, and the Texans have the ball, and there's going to be a second quarter about to get underway. And so they're going to get this underway shortly. And I want to just go into something real quickly here. So I think CJ, I think, uh, but I do think they are not going to want to give up any points. And the second quarter is just getting underway with the Texans having the ball. And yes, Case Keenum is starting in place of the injured Texans quarterback C.J. Stroud. And it's right now 7-0 with 59 left to go, I think. And it's fourth and fourth, the Houston 49, and the Texans have the ball. But I have taken the Browns. So is my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. He has taken the Browns. Uh, the Washington Commanders are taking on the New York Jets at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It's 17-0 Jets. Fourth and one at the Washington 34 with 2:08 left to go in the first. Jets have the ball. I have taken the Jets. My brother-in-law is taking the Commanders. That's one we don't agree on. The Detroit Lions are taking on the Minnesota Vikings of Minnesota. They're tied at 7 in the second quarter, 12:31 to go, with third 7 at the Minnesota 33, tied at 7. And the Vikings have the ball. The Green Bay Packers are taking on the Carolina Panthers. They're at 13-3 with 11:20 to go in the second quarter. First and 10 at the Green Bay 20. And the Panthers have the ball. And I'm taking Green Bay to beat Carolina. Excuse me, I'm taking Green Bay and Detroit to beat Minnesota. And my brother-in-law is also taking Green Bay, and he is taking the Lions to beat Minnesota as well. The Seattle Seahawks are taking the Seattle Seahawks are taking on Tennessee Titans in Tennessee. It's 7-0 Tennessee. Seattle has the ball. Second quarter, 13:03 to go. Second and 6 at the Tennessee 42. And I've taken Seattle, so my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. The Indianapolis Colts are taking on the Atlanta Falcons at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and they're tied at 7, second quarter, 10:49 to go, and it's third and 14 at the Atlanta 23, and the Falcons have the ball. I've taken Indianapolis, so is my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. He is taking them as well. Uh, the uh, uh, the uh, the Jacksonville Jaguars are taking on Baker Mayfield and the Bucks at Raymond James Stadium, and it's that's a late game. That's a late game today, and I've taken this is the other one we don't agree on. I've taken Jacksonville. My brother-in-law took the Buccaneers. Uh, the uh, the Chicago Bears take on the Arizona Cardinals in Chicago. I've taken the Bears. So is my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle. The Miami Dolphins are taking on the Dallas Cowboys at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And I have taken Miami, and so is my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. Eric is taking the Dolphins. And Sunday Night Football tonight, the New England Patriots take on the Denver Broncos at Empire Field in Mile High. I've taken Denver, so is Eric. He has taken Denver. And tomorrow, Christmas Day football. The Las Vegas Raiders are in Arrowhead Stadium to take on their rival Kansas City Chiefs. I've taken KC. That's a 1 o'clock start. That's on CBS 19 on Fox. The late afternoon game. The New York Giants play Philly in Philly, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I've taken the Eagles. So is my brother-in-law. And Monday Night Football, Christmas night. The San Francisco 49ers are in Baltimore to take on, or they're the Baltimore Ravens, excuse me, are in San Francisco at Santa Clara, at Levi's Stadium, Santa Clara, California, to take on the Baltimore Ravens. I've taken San Francisco, and so is my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. So We shall see. And right now, it's 7-0 Browns, second quarter, 13:26 to go. Second and 5 at the Cleveland 15. 12:55 left to go in the second quarter, and the Browns have the ball. So let's score, boys. Let's do it. So, but I think the Browns will get the win. And I'm saying Browns 23, Texans 17. Well, that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101. Uh, Browns and NFL early and late games update show to give you a little previews. You'll get. I'll be back with you tomorrow on Christmas Day. Until then, Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy your Christmas Eve night and time with your family, and enjoy Christmas Eve service, and enjoy Christmas tomorrow. And I'll see you tomorrow when I'll be at the Hoyle house. Now, my brother-in-law Eric Hoyle and his cousin Aaron Hoyle on as my special guest. We'll go over all the NFL action tomorrow. But until then. Always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.